tried just about all the lines out there I can think of, and I've only found a couple of ones that I really like. But I always go back to the original braid that was out there, Power Pro. And on most all my rods, I use the old green Power Pro, non-coated. I like it the best. It seems to hold up the best for me, especially drum fishing on the flats. I use coated lines for, and I say coated lines, and when I say coated lines, color lines, for fishing docks and things like that. And the only reason I use them is because I can look in the back of my truck and go, okay, there's my dock rods. These are my popping cork rods. These are my just lead rods for fishing docks. And I know what rod is what by looking at the line that's on it. But most everything I do is just a standard Power Pro, the old school Power Pro, non-coated, just green. It just holds up better, it cuts through the water better. It's not as resistant to abrasion as some of the coated lines are, but then my coated lines are going to be 30 to 40 to 50 pound coated lines. That's all I use for those. In the summertime, when I'm fishing waterway banks and stuff, I'll keep a coated line and I'll throw it out just on the roll, because that's where a lot of big flounder like to lay. It's also where a lot of big drum move up and down the banks, and I'll be sitting there fishing the banks with popping corks and have a live bait on that rod, and you never know what you'll catch. It might be a big drum, could be a huge stingray, could be a big old shark, and the braided line in that 40 to 50 pound range seems to do really well with that. People say I can't cast heavy lines. Well, one of the tricks to being able to cast heavy lines is to keep your reel just as full as it can get. And if you lose a little bit, don't worry about it. Put a couple of nail knots in it and go on down the road. It'll still cast. It's going to be just as strong as you want, and you can just keep your rod or your reel full of line to right at that point of line on the spool where it's almost too much. And when you cast, close your bill manually. And very rarely will you get a loop over the spool. And so when you cast again, you won't get that knot. But closing that bail manually is probably the best thing you can do for your casting.